All right, let's try this again, guys. Try to see if this new gear is going to work and if everything's set up. Y'all having to learn with me, guys. Let's see if it's working. Yeah, it looks like it's working. All right, guys. Sorry for the random lives tonight. I'm out here messing with my gear and working on some boxes. I'm just trying to see if everything's going to work. And I didn't have any projects tonight, so I'm just I'm just out here messing around. So if you got any questions or anything, feel free to send those. I've got a few questions I've been sitting here answering for people on Facebook and whatnot. Uh, this that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. I'll show y'all what I'm working on. I've just been sitting out here letting little boxes burn, guys. I got me a case to put all my camera gear in, and I'm making little boxes to go in some of these inserts right here, so that like these cables, because I got like piles of these USB-C cables, and they were falling below the little foam stuff in here and getting lost. And so I've decided to just come in here and make me some little custom boxes that fit my cutouts for some of this stuff. Now, some of it I'm going to leave it like it is because I don't want to scratch my cameras or anything like that. But I'm trying to put little box inserts in here as much as I can to hold this stuff. So that's right. That's right, Steve. I am playing with my goodies. Just being a gear junkie in here. I got another box burning. I'm waiting on it. It was actually the big one that goes right here in this slot. And so I figured while I was doing that, I'd just check everything, see if it works, and all that good stuff. And I had a couple of questions. I'm still trying to get those answered on Facebook. It's like as soon as I come home from work, man, it's it's trying to get back with everybody so I don't get so I don't get in trouble. Because a lot of times people think, I guess they think I don't want to talk to them, but it's not that. Sometimes it's just busy. So, well, if anybody's got any questions, now's a good time. Like I said, I'm just sitting out here trying to stay warm because Steve's done cursed me, and my good, nice, warm weather has left again. So, I'm just hanging out. But try to get my box done. It's on the last panel for that one, so hopefully it'll be done here in a minute. But yes, Steve, I got me a gearbox for all my gear. And then I'm having to measure these and figure out what size boxes I need and what I want to put a box on, what I don't. So I think after just one more big box, I think I'm gonna call it good for now. But does the camera look okay? Is it any clearer than it has been? I got a new cable in, and my buddy Steve's told me that some of the cables might be the problem, so I went and ordered a new cable. I'm hoping that was the problem. I'm hoping it's not blurry anymore. But you got folks asking me about dumping a bunch of video from the camera and the computer to work on an edit. What you working on, Steve? What kind of goodies you got over there? Or can you talk about it? Or just send you a link, let you get in here. We just hang out. I had absolutely nothing that I was going to do a video on tonight. I was wanting to work on getting my box fixed because it was messing with my OCD. And so I was like, you know what? I'll check out my gear while I had it all out here anyway because I was working on this box. So I figured I would just throw a little video up and see how it worked. So questions, comments, or concerns, whichever you got, feel free. Sculpt Fun. You still not through with that thing yet? You procrastinator. Yeah, I did get an email. I may have another machine coming to try out. I'm kind of due for one. Hadn't had one in a while. Oh, well, I saw that they officially outed themselves about the 40 watt. I'm waiting to see. I know me and Steve had this discussion the other night in the live. What they're doing is they're just, and if you can see it in their illustration, they're just lining up these 5 watt diodes. And as long as the compression, as long as they can keep those things focused together, I think it'll work. But I'm just kind of anxious to see. I'm trying to kind of wait and find out. I would like to test one, but my luck, I won't get an opportunity unless I, come off the money. Is it possible to cut out a piece of material 24 by 24 with an X tool? Okay, it's not. I'm not going to say it's not possible, but that would be really tough because the only way to do it would be to take that cut and cut it in half and line it up perfectly. But no, about the largest square that you're going to want to cut with an X tool is, I'd say, a little over 14. Anything over about 14, it starts getting a little too much of a, you haven't got enough wiggle room, because if you go too far, you're either going to hit the limit switches, or on the older models, you're actually going to hit the boundary, and it's going to mess your cut up. So no, I didn't never get the IR. They had mentioned that I might get one, and I didn't feel comfortable in spending the money on it because I don't do jewelry, so I never ordered it. I mostly make boxes and stuff like this. But yeah, the 20 is knocking these boxes out of the park. And this is a 14. Whoever that was asking me. This is a 14-inch piece of material here. You can go 16, but you just got to be careful. Make sure you got everything in the middle of your workspace, because if you're not, you'll hit the edge. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Ventari. I mean, being able to, I consider myself to be somewhat skilled with an X tool. I wouldn't try it because you'd have to get that cut lined up perfect. Yeah, that would be an undertaking, to say the least. I really want to add a vacuum to my workstation, so that after I engrave or cut something with these little squares, I can just suck those out of there without having to pull the vacuum out. These things really get annoying, and if you leave them in here, they tend to cause a problem. So I got like 50 of these guys just hanging out on top of my work area. See, these are 16 by 16s. What was her name? Deborah. These are 16 by 16 pieces of material, and that's about the work area, the usable work area, in my opinion, of X tool, especially the Pros, the 20 watts. That's about as big as you're going to want to go. Anything bigger than that, and like I said, it gets a little touch and go on whether or not you hit the sides, and you don't want to hit the sides. You'll waste a bunch of material doing that. I thought I had that thing cut out, but I got one more cut to do. Let me frame that guy up, make sure to go. All right, good to go. Yeah, I just been sitting here burning out these boxes. How is your mom port doing with cold weather? The mom port's actually doing really well. Now it has about 2 gallons of antifreeze in the 5-gallon bucket. but it's just done well. It has not froze. I haven't used it since it got cold, but I did come out here when we had that little cold snap that Steve sent me, where it got down into the single digits in Alabama, which is unheard of. I did come out here just because I was paranoid, and I actually used the same tester that I used for my vehicles to test the antifreeze in the 5-gallon bucket so that I would make sure that it wasn't going to freeze. And it tested to like 20 below. So I was like, I'm good unless I go visit Steve. So I just put it back together. But yeah, it's holding up good as far as I know. Like I said, I haven't played with it a whole lot. I've been dealing with just wood and stuff, and stove covers have kept me wrapped up. As you can see, guys, I got 3 over there in the rack that I just built, and I got a text message yesterday that they want 2 more. So I'm just going to make 2 more, stick in the rack, and then I guess I'm going to deliver a rack and 5 stove covers all at the same time this weekend. Hopefully I'll be able to get them done. Come on up. The weather is fine. Steve, you ain't getting me with that, bro. All right. I've seen the pictures of what you can't even tell what kind of car you got. Clack's in the shack. Yep. Always. This is kind of, I wouldn't call it a man cave, but this is kind of my man cave. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've got I've got most everything I need. I've got a refrigerator over there to where I can stay hydrated. I do have music, which I can't listen to while I'm doing videos because YouTube gets, angry about that. But yeah, it's fun. And I'm cutting these boxes really tight, guys. I set the, if you use boxes.py, make sure you measure the material just while we're here. This is 4.9 millimeters. This is the Luon that I typically get. It's typically 4.5, but for some reason this batch turned out to be 4.9. And when you do the boxes.py, if you'll set the kerf to, instead of the default 0.1, if you set it to 0.15, it makes these guys go together snug. Now you got to have a little plastic hammer here, rubber hammer. But once you kind of put those things together, you get that nice, clean, put together, and these will not come apart even without glue, because I've had to rip them apart because I put the wrong piece on at the wrong time, and they won't come apart with that setting. So just a little tip if you use boxes.py. And fresh out of the oven, guys. I got my 2 end caps here. But yeah, just sitting out here piddling. I figured I'd throw a camera up and see if there was any questions or comments, concerns, or whatever, because this is pretty much how my evenings go if I'm not trying to learn how to 3D model stuff. But my head hurt a little bit after Sunday, so I decided today I was going to get back in here and just do a little lasering and organize my gear that Steve likes to make fun of me about. So there you go, guys. Now I got me a little box that's going to go in this hole over here. I'll show you where it's going. Show you what's happening over here. See, I made this box to go right here. This is going to hold like all my little selfie sticks and stuff like that. I'm going to put them in there because I don't care if they get beat around a little bit. So I'm going to have to take this out. I'm going to take this out. I really should have probably thought about this when I originally pulled all these little pieces of foam out, but I didn't. So there we go. So now I just got to go through here and pull all this foam out of this thing. And I really don't like it when they cut it for you. But this was the cheapest box I could find on Amazon that I felt like was adequate for what I wanted it for. I just want something to keep the dust and debris off of my cameras, and something that when I get ready to go to my friend May, if she's having something or wants some help with some AV, I can just grab all my stuff. Because the last time I went to help her, I got there and we didn't have the cables I needed. So this is gonna help me keep everything organized. And y'all know, got a little touch of OCD here, guys. Look at that, nice. I can still put this is my little dash mount for when I'm talking to you guys going down the road. And then the GoPro handle, of course, going to drop that guy in here. And then you got all these little connectors that go with the GoPro handle that you got to keep, but they tend to get lost. So I'm going to drop those in there as well. And I've still got the spot to put this back where it was. And selfie stick. And I've also got my little arm that this camera is on that goes in here as well. It's just kind of like a bunch of pieces of metal that go together like an erector set. All right, let's see what we got. I just finished laser engraving an axe head. Well, that'd be cool. Is it like a big axe or like a tomahawk? Or, I mean, you just you're teasing me a little bit with that. Is it like a tomahawk, a hatchet, or like a full-blown like two-sided axe? Because that'd be pretty neat. Did you use Ceramark or did you just mark it? All right, so what we think? Got this one in here, so it's looking pretty good. And see, it's just going to be just enough that this stuff right here, when I close it, is going to make sure this stuff stays in these boxes, because I've made them just big enough that they get a little bit of pressure, but not a lot. So I think it's going to work out nicely. I don't want to put any of my cameras in a box because I'm afraid it'll scratch the lens or something, beat them up. May get the battery back up. Would be a bad idea. 100 watt MOPA 5. Oh, Jack in the shop's got some money then if you got 100 watt fiber. I don't have that kind of money. 20 watt machine would cut a 24 by 2. I thought I answered that already. I did answer. Pretty sure I answered that. No, you couldn't. 24 by 24 is actually the size of the base of the machine. So in one sitting, no, you couldn't. Is it possible that you could break it up into like 4 cuts and line everything up perfect and do it? It's possible, but not functional. So I don't know if you missed that. Maybe you stepped out or whatever, but I think we answered that a while ago, or I did. Steve chimed in on it too. But no, I'm not going to say it's not possible there, Deborah, but it is highly, highly not recommended to even try it. Now, if you had that machine there that Hillbilly has, that's a 40 by 54 machine, then yes, you could cut a 24-inch square, but I don't have one of those either. So I got a skill saw. Yeah, Hillbilly, that would definitely do a 24 by 24. Probably, I don't know what size, 80 watt. Yeah, you could probably do a 24 by 24 sheet of 1/2-inch plywood with that. But I got skill saws for that stuff. Oh, the S30 is expandable in both directions. You're going to have to show me that guy, Steve. I want to see that. I want to see a 4 foot by 4 foot diode machine. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. That's going to leave that alone. Leave that in there. Yeah, I think I'm going to call that done. I could do a little box for all these audio cables. I may do that. May maybe two boxes for the audio cables. These are, I got some that are like phone the line in, and then others are like mic to mic. Then these are the little mics that go with the lapel. Yep, I can do those. I can put those 2 guys in a box. How about that? Yeah, set those over here. Snatch these out. Just upgraded the 30 watt source to 100 watt. Whew. Yeah, y'all guys are getting a little too rich for my blood right now. I'm going to have to stick with my hobby lasers for now. I'm going to have a bigger space anyway. I can't get I couldn't find a spot to put something that big. All right, so. All right, let's see how big this box needs to be, guys. Anybody want to guess? I'm going to go with, I think 40 is going to be a bit much. Yeah, 40 is going to be a bit much. We'll do 38 by 55. 38 by 55. So let me draw this box up, guys. I'll be right back. All right. What's up, Aaron? Yeah, I'm just hanging out, man. I was out here working and had all my gear, so I was just like, figured I'd see what you guys were up to, check in. I really just wanted the 4,000 kilohertz frequency. A little over my head on that. I'm not following on the frequency. I know it's probably got something to do with the wavelength, but I'm not that abreast on those larger machines. Hey, you can make some money off key change if you can find a place to get rid of them. I make quite a few of those. I got a few little spots that sell them for me. Laser light level. Okay. But yeah, we're just working on my little box here. Hanging out. I didn't have anything else to do. It was kind of nippy in here, so a coaster setup. G works killer with a honeycomb. Coaster setup G. I'm missing something there. Are you talking about my coaster setup jig? Or are you talking about something else? But it works well for me. I use it a lot. Not using it today because I'm just cutting boxes. But I do like it. So what y'all think about this camera? Is this going to be helpful when I'm putting lasers together? Because that's kind of what I got it for. I bought the cheapest little arm that Amazon had, and so far it's got like 2 pieces of duct tape on it already. So I'm probably going to have to back up and punt on that. Maybe even make my own instead of trying to use the cheap ones. Santa Howard. Who is Santa Howard? I missed something. Let me scroll back. Oh, using the plastic pens. Hey, they work. They're different, but they work. I missed something about a Santa. Even bigger machine. Looking forward to the 40s for sure. Wait a minute. Let me just put this on full screen. Yeah, that's better. Now, looks a lot better on full screen. Yeah, I got magnets that I use sometimes too. A new person. Okay, cool. That's good. I'm guessing you mean the notification bell. I didn't. It doesn't show me that, guys. So I apologize for not knowing when people do that. I'm using Restream, and so when people come in and leave, or comments, I can see, but I've noticed I can't see a lot of the other stuff that people do. Fiber laser lets you change frequency to get color in metal. Okay, well that'd be cool. I would love to have a fiber laser. I really would. And one of these days, hopefully, I can do it. Just did an 11-inch custom clock engraved on 1-inch red oak. Cool. Speaking of red oak, I got some outside that I just milled the other day, and let me go get a piece of it. It's kind of messing up on me, but let me go grab a piece of this wood and show you guys. All right. I cut it super thin, and I knew it was going to do it because it's oak. It's starting to cup real bad. But my plan is I'm just going to let this thing check all the way through, and I'm just going to use it for like some little decorative signs and stuff. But this is about a 1/2 inch thick piece of red oak, and I am going to see if I can find one of these machines that can cut it. But as you can see, it's checking all the way down. But this was just a cut to try to get the log back smooth after I had skinned it out with a dull blade. And so I just decided to cut me out a piece and see how it did. But it is turning into a potato chip on me. So, but it's really light, and I'm gonna play around with that, try to make something cool out of it. Webcam for video. Okay. Okay, hang on. I missed some stuff. Let me back up. Y'all got me behind while I was outside. Recently purchased the X-Tool D1 Pro and the Monport 40 watt. Yeah, that's a good combo if you're doing small stuff, because I like my X-Tool. Like I said, my 20 watt, as you can see, it's back there. It's cutting these boxes out for me. The Monport, I primarily use it for acrylic, but occasionally if I've got the other machines tied up, I will do wood on it. But I don't have a camera in there, and the small work area just really doesn't work for a lot of my wood projects. Is it worth getting Lightburn to learn the software before I get my first laser? Darren, you can actually download Lightburn and get the free trial, so you can use it. I think it's 30 days. Pretty sure it's 30 days, but you can download Lightburn, and they'll give you like a free trial license for 30 days to play with it. But after the 30 days, you'll probably be wanting to purchase it. But that'll give you at least time to try to figure out the basics and get in there and play, watch some videos. And then once you get comfortable with it, then you can make that decision. But if you're going to get a laser, and you know you are, there's no way around it, you're going to get one, you're going to want Lightburn. A lot of these companies have like their own little flavor of a software program, but you're very, very limited on what you can do. So you're not going to enjoy a laser unless you can learn to use Lightburn, in my opinion. So that's where I stand on that. Now, you don't necessarily have to have a machine. I think you have to set one up, but I don't think you have to have a machine to use Lightburn. You can just go in and create a profile as if you have a machine. I don't think you actually have to connect it. I could be wrong. Let's see what else. How heavy are stove covers once complete? That's a really good question. All right. I'm not like the world's strongest man or anything, but you can lift them with a pinky. So I'm going to go with 5 to 10 pounds somewhere. Maybe 10 pounds. I think 10 pounds is, I had a set of fish scales in here somewhere. I don't know where I put them, but I'm going to go with probably about 10 pounds. Now, oak, if you do one out of oak, you're going to be substantially heavier. This is pine. It's not yellow pine. It's the stuff that you get in the big box stores, and it's not as heavy. So it's a lot lighter. It's more kind of like spruce. Matter of fact, I think this stuff here came from Canada up there around Steve. I'm having to buy it because I can't keep my meal. I can't keep caught up. I'm able to get Lightburn to connect to my 40. What kind of 40 you got? Does it have a K40 has to have the appropriate board in it to work with Lightburn. I do know that. A lot of the older K40s only worked with, I don't know what the name of, I can't remember the name of the software, but you have to upgrade the board in a lot of the K40s. Now, the Monport offers the one that, like I have, that works with Lightburn. Yeah, Yeah, ordinary woodworker. I'm pretty sure, like I said, when I got this new laptop, I imported my profiles, but I never plugged I still haven't had a laser plugged up to this computer here, and I'm running Lightburn on it. I just use it for designing while I'm inside. Cindy, that's going to depend on the elevation of your camera. This enclosure, I'm running a flat lens, but this enclosure, I run a fisheye. And in the smaller enclosures, I run a fisheye. You just need to make sure of how high above the workspace your camera is going to be, and kind of base it off of that. There's several. I got several videos. If you go to the channel and just look at the keyword camera, you'll see several videos that I have of different cameras that I use. I'm trying to put this thing together with my hammer. I'm not falling out of my chair or nothing, guys. But the fisheye lenses, I prefer them if it's a really short enclosure. But the flat lens, to me, tends to have less distortion toward the edge of the workspace. But like in my portable enclosure, I use the fisheye because it's only like 12 inches tall. And in order to see the entire work area, the camera just can't do it without being outside the enclosure. So the key factors is how high does your camera have to be to see the entire workspace. And if you have a shorter enclosure, then you're going to have a wider angle lens to be able to see everything. So that's going to be kind of a thing. MPK 40. Yeah, if it's a Monport, now I think they still offer the non-Lightburn models, but if it's I think they're calling it the M40, like the one I have, it does have a Lightburn compatible board in it, and it works good with Lightburn. Because when Monport asked me about trying one out, I told them if it didn't work with Lightburn, I didn't want it. True North, Michigan Pure Bridge Roll. The X2 40 watt announcement. Well, I'm anxious to see it. I like my 20 watt. If it's twice as powerful as my 20 watt, I'll probably end up getting one, as much as I don't need one. Because the having 40 watts of diode is just, it seems like it would be a cool thing to have. Now watch my little box not be big enough to hold these two little microphone wires. Oh yeah. Oh, this is going to work nice. Look, I'm going to put the little fuzzy thing up top so I'll know what's in there. There we go. See, it's coming together, guys. When folks see my box, they'll know I do lasers. Can't wait to see what it can do. Yeah, I'd really like to try one out. I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping that they don't do like they did with the 20 watt, though. I'm hoping that they don't just throw the module out there and I've got to tear my 20 down to try it out, because I really don't want to mess with my 20 right now. As you can see, I use it a lot. Can always use more power. Yeah, more power is better in a lot of scenarios. Now, there's, like I said, I'm curious to see how bad the engraving capability degrades. It wasn't really that noticeable going from 10 to 20, but I'm afraid if you go from 20 to 40, I'm afraid you're going to start seeing a larger dot size, which is going to cause the engraving capability to go down. I think that's all the boxes I want to put in here for now. So we'll just have a conversation for a few more minutes, and then I'll go inside and try to get some supper. But that's this is all my AV stuff, and so when I go places, or if I'm making videos or doing a live or whatever, this is all the stuff I got to have to make it happen, except for the laptop, which goes in a backpack. So I'm afraid, Joseph, that's one of the things that I'm afraid they're going to keep making these modules bigger until the point to where your workspace gets tiny. But we'll see. Well, I'm hoping that's the case there, Steve, but you never know. you never know what they're going to do. For cutting, I wouldn't be worried about the spot size, but I'm gonna always have the smaller machines, you know, the 10s and the 20s anyway. I'm not gonna get rid of any of the ones I have. What's nice about the X2 binder is you can switch them out. Yeah, for the most part, but the problem is going to be that the power supply for the 20 watt isn't going to support the 40. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure they didn't go overboard with the power supply that much. So that means you're going to have to do kind of like what the Otour / Comgrow that I've got over here is. You're going to have that like extra power wire and the little control box on the side. So, and that's not a big deal, but you know, it's not ideal for me. It messes with my OCD just a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and break this GoPro down. I'll show y'all guys what I got for the for all my stuff. Because like I said, I was out here playing with my toys. Steve wants to make fun of me and call me gear junkie, but I can't help it, guys. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing the YouTube videos. I enjoy talking to you guys and helping y'all. And I like my gear. So there you have. Yeah, Jim, I will say this. I do like my 10 watts for engraving, for pictures and stuff. Now, I've did a side-by-side comparison, and you can search my channel. I did it with my 10 watt that's over there on the wall and my 20 watt that's in the enclosure. And I know people say that the engraving is better, but it's not. Without getting a magnifying glass out, I really couldn't tell much of a difference. The one thing that I will say is even engraving, if you've got twice the power, you can go twice as fast or thereabouts. And that's the GoPro shutting off. Scared me. And get the job done quicker than you can with a 10 watt. So you sacrifice a little bit of quality, maybe, not even noticeable, but you can get engraves done a lot faster. So glad I got to catch you this time before bed. Yeah, Hillbilly, this really wasn't planned. I just want to throw that out there. I was just sitting out here messing around, and I was like, you know what? It's kind of boring out here. So I figured I'd fire up the camera and check everything. And I'll show you guys what I got for my. And like I said, I've got to back up and punt on this little guy here. It works, but I have already had to engineer it with a little bit of. It's got a little bit of Gorilla Tape. I don't use duct tape, but it's got a little bit of Gorilla Tape here and a little bit here already. And this thing just got off the truck yesterday. But it works. They provided me with the basic tools I needed. But this is so I can, when we're doing like put together videos and stuff, or when I'm somewhere helping somebody with a video, I can set up the different angles. So I just used the GoPro for that and set it up as a webcam. This is a 9 Black Hero. It works pretty well. So can't complain. I've got the little multimedia cover for it, but I used it under a house getting some bees, and I got honey in it. And ever since it got honey in it, it just doesn't want to work right. So it's probably going to get replaced. I'm going to have to order a new one. Love the gearbox. I hear you, Hillbilly. Steve calls me a gear junkie. But you know what? At least I know where all my gear is now. I guess that's about it. Yeah. Photos with the CO2. I haven't done any, but it's just because I don't have a need to do them with the CO2. I do them with usually I'll do them with either the 20 watt or one of my 10s. I stick with those machines because that's what I'm used to. That's what works for me. And I didn't make my box long enough for this thing to have the piece on the end. And so it just works. Some things connected to the 40. Did a test fire and came out with 2 beams. That is going to be, if you're getting 2 beams, you're going to have that's going to either be depending on where it's at. More than likely, it's going to be right there on your last mirror, right before you go down into the nozzle. You've got an alignment issue somewhere, and you're going to have to basically check it all the way back to. I would start at the end of the tube and just check your mirror alignment. There's a lot of videos out there. I haven't done one. There's a lot of videos. I had to deal with that. If you have like when it moves through the work area, a lot of times you'll have a real thin line in one position, and then you get a real thick line in the other position. From my experience, that's usually that second mirror is causing that, because it's not lining up as it moves through the workspace. But it's definitely going to be a mirror somewhere that is not properly aligned, and you're going to need to fix that, because it's not going to work right until you align those mirrors. Had a similar issue when I put the air assist on mine. I didn't put it back together right, and then it started. Mine wouldn't even, like, when I would do the little test fire, it would make like a crescent shaped cut around the nozzle, and that one was actually, I had to rotate the nozzle to keep it from. It was hitting the edge of the nozzle on the way in. Yeah. Hillbilly says it could be the focus lens. Some of these guys may actually know more about these machines than I do. I'm relatively a rookie when it comes to the CO2s. I've had mine for a little while, but I've still got a lot to learn. And I do mean a lot to learn. Having to tear out more of my box, guys. Because I forgot about this little clamp piece that goes with the arm. I didn't make my box big enough for it to fit in. So I'm gonna wind up with just a shell of a box. How do I access the focal lens? The focal lens is going to be the lens that's when you take the bottom part screws off and there's a lens inside there. I have a laser than you, but you have more. Hey, subs don't make you smart, guy. Subs don't make you smart. That's a misnomer. If anybody ever tell you subscribers makes you smart, it doesn't. That is not true. I'm still learning. I learn every day. Now I think a lot of people respect that about me, that I don't claim to know everything. Clack is funnier. Well, I don't know about funny. Believe it or not, most folks don't think humor is my strong suit. So I hats off to you guys that think I'm funny, because that's not something I've been accused of over the years. I've been called a lot of things, and funny's never really been one of those that pops up a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. I think this guy is going into the GoPro bag by itself. I don't think I'm putting that back in there. I'm going to leave this like it is. But now, funny, I've been called many names and many descriptors, but funny's not. Funny's not. My wife says I have my moments with humor. My daughter just says I have dad jokes. So seriously, so y'all seriously think I'm funny, or y'all just making fun of me? Y'all just pulling my thumb now. Huh. Joe, I'm guessing it's Joe, but I have considered the extensions for the X tool, but it's kind of like this. I'm limited on space, and I have got myself to where I can make enough money and make enough things, and I have enough things that I can make to get me some profit without having to have the longer machine. So it's not that I'm anti-long X tool. I'm not. I just, as you can see over here, I'm a little cramped for space, and the things that I do don't really require the longer machine. Now, I've considered getting one and not necessarily putting it in an enclosure, but just having it so that I could do longer things, maybe up here on the workbench or whatever. and then just do it like I do my 10 watt, because my 10 watt's hanging over here. My 10 watt stays right here under this ComGrow enclosure to kind of semi-protect it from dust. It just hangs right there until I do a stove cover or something like that. I'm actually going to probably get it down and engrave my logo on the back of this Pelican case that I put all my camera gear in. But no, I just hadn't really seen the need for it. That's really my only reason for not getting one, is I stay busy with what I've got, and until the need arises, until I see there's a build or a market that I need a longer machine for, I'm just going to hold off. Unless somebody, like I said, one of these companies decide they want to send me one, then by all means I will accept it. But it may not be in an enclosure, or if I like it enough, I can clear out some room and put it in an enclosure. I could use one of those to do my stove covers with if I had it in an enclosure that I could slide the machine into. 4 a.m. comes fast. Yes, sir. 4 a.m. would, but have a good one there here, Billy. I ain't going to be here long. I got to go eat. I'm surprised I hadn't got a text message from the wife yet saying, come and eat. She usually gives up on me and puts it in the refrigerator, and I wind up eating it cold. And if you haven't tried Hamburger Helper cold, guys, I had some last night, and it was really good. So just one of those things. Living hinge boxes are more elaborate. Yeah, see, I haven't tried that. The wood that I use, I don't think would be well suited for the living hinge boxes, because the way you have to put those little slices in there. So I would have to get a little bit better wood to do that with. But yeah. Building his own engraver. Now that's an adventure. Building your own, like you just buying parts, or you taking parts and putting them together. Fluffy says, hey guys. Same as a school bus driver, 4 a.m. start time. See, that's why I spent most of my career working night shift, guys. Anybody that knows me will tell you that I am not a morning person. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna put her on blast here if I can. Let me get out of this screen. All right. Hang on. All right. There you go. See what I mean, guys? That's what I have to put up with. She's calling me out in the live. See, you can't. That's the only thing about having a YouTube channel and doing lives is your privacy is gone when it comes to your wife. You can't hide anything from her. It's a good thing I didn't buy something that she didn't know about. That would suck. Well, now, guys, that's not the. I'll tell you this thing. When I first the Clack Shack, as y'all can remember, I don't know if y'all didn't know about the Clack Shack before, but I usually didn't. The front wall was non-existent. This was a dirt floor pole barn, and I did woodworking in here and stuff like that. And then I went and I upgraded, so I put me a wall up so that I have a door and keep the weather out, keep animals out, and just have a shop. Well, it wasn't but like 2 or 3 weeks after I put the door up, my wife was like, hey, you're going to need to put a camera or something in there that I can access across the internet to be able to check on you, because I can't see you in case you hurt yourself or whatever. So there's actually sitting right here, there's 3 different security cameras that she can pull up and see me on already. But now I've got the YouTube thing too. So she's definitely keeping an eye on me. She is definitely keeping an eye on me. All right. So if you're buying all the parts, works for an engineering company, parts are free. Hey, well, that's the way to do it. You'll have, what was that song about the 67, 68, 69 Cadillac? That's the way to do it sometimes. What would you recommend a newbie to start burning first? Whatever you enjoy. Whatever you start to burn first, make sure it's something that you enjoy, because there are going to be some pitfalls. There are going to be some things that are going to kind of elude you, and it's usually going to be something simple, and you're going to go back and go, why did I overlook that? So make sure whatever it is you're working on, you enjoy it, because if you don't enjoy it, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to throw it to the side. That's my advice. Coffee. What's that? I'm not following. Yeah, well, mine, I guess I need to fix her where she can moderate. Size for my laser is 500 by 500. How much antifreeze do I need? Okay. Yeah, I'm not an expert on that, guys. So as far as algicide and all that, I don't know. Antifreeze, you can get a tester if you're using like automotive or RV type antifreeze. You can actually get a little tester that has a little floating lever in there that'll tell you based on the weight of the little dial floats or either it doesn't float. And based on that, whether it floats or not, it'll tell you at what temperature the water will freeze. That's what I did. Now that may not be right, so don't go say Clack said do it and it blew my machine up. Do your research. But as far as algicide, that's not something that I'm really accustomed to. I do know that algae does not grow in antifreeze as like it does in regular water. And also, if it can't get sunlight, that should slow it down. Just what little bit I know about algae. But anyway, you may want to research that somewhere else, guys. I'm not a pro on that. I was in Auburn past season, sitting in the big chair. Yeah, I don't go to Auburn a whole lot. I actually don't leave my county a whole lot if I can help it, to be honest with you. Yeah, one piece at a time. That was the name of the song. Thanks. Appreciate you there, Piddling. Yeah, there you go right there. Steve is more of the pro with the CO2 stuff. He's got a lot more time researching, and so I would trust Steve more than I would me when it comes to the CO2 stuff. Just being honest with you guys. Put the legs on the X2. Find tumblers to be a pain. Yeah, I'm working on I've got a design built in my head for a way for us diode people to have some of the benefits that the CO2 guys do. I just got to get around to getting the parts and putting it together and testing it, see if it works. And if it does, I'll make a video, of course, and share it with you guys. Share where I got the parts from, and you can try to make your own. Water distiller, later to make my own distilled water. I got neighbors that have water distillers, but they don't usually distill water in them. It's usually a little more alcohol-based substance around here. Alabama is kind of common. Anti-corrosive, if that counts. Yeah, I mean, I guess you wouldn't want it to corrode anything. How much time you spend in your Clack shack doing laser work? Is it every day? I wouldn't say every day. But it's a lot of days. I work a Monday through Friday. I have to work 8 to 4. Sometimes it's 8 to 6. Sometimes it's, whenever they call me. But usually I'll get home around 6. I try to stay in the house for a little while before I come out here if I can. Make sure the kids and the wife still recognize me. Sometimes I'll eat before I come. Sometimes I come out here, then I go eat. Sometimes I get text messages or told to come eat. But I would say 2 or 3 hours a night. I'm either out here working on something, or like the other night, Sunday, I spent like 6 or 8 hours figuring out how to work Fusion 360, trying to design my virtual Clack Shack rack, which I was able to do, and I would really love to share that with you guys. Let me see if I can get that uploaded. But yeah, so I'm constantly working on something. If it's not out here, or if it's not something to do with YouTube, I probably spend 2 or 3 hours on and off, answering questions, replying to comments, working on designs, stuff like that on the computer. I just want to be taller like yours. Steve's honeycomb level 2 enclosure. No, Steve, it's not. Well, yes and no. You can use it to clean things. You can also power your car with it. When I was a kid, we actually had a lawnmower that didn't run on gasoline. But the bad thing to that, bad part about it is it caught on fire one day, and I didn't know it was on fire because, little known fact, moonshine, when it burns, or ethanol, as they use in NASCAR, when it burns, you really can't see the fire. It's just kind of like it gets hot, things start melting, and then all of a sudden you realize it's on fire. But yeah, it's a unique substance that is made in those distilleries. Yeah, I did that in 360, Fusion 360. Just thought I'd, brag a little bit about that again. But it worked. I was a little concerned that it wasn't going to work when I first started, but I sat there and you can see it sitting right here. So that is actually to scale. The only part that I haven't put in there yet. Oh yeah, there's a cat in the rack. But the only part that I haven't put in there yet is the little. I got those little guides in there that keep the stove covers from getting sideways. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, the cats have no boundaries. They actually do have a house. Like, hang on. If I can do this without scaring Fluffy, I'll pull you guys up there where you can see Fluffy. They actually do have a cat bed. And there's Fluffy in the cat bed. It is it's a little known fact that Fluffy has a bed, but there she is. It's a bunk bed. It has 2 bunks. It uses some old pillows that my wife was going to throw away as mattresses, and that's where Fluffy likes to sleep. There she is, right there. So that was pre-Clack Shack. There's the cat face on it that's cut with a router. That was not my better work. But anyway. All right. Well, guys, I hate to run. I've enjoyed it. It made time pass a little faster for when I was working on these boxes and stuff. And I'm glad I got to check the machines out, make sure all of my software and everything's working. So, did you just do a baker's dozen purposely or just for? Okay, no, that was not purposely. The reason that I wound up doing 13 of them is because I bought 8-foot 2x4s, and I wanted the legs to be 4 foot so that I could get 2 legs out of one 8-foot 2x4, and it just worked out that way. It wound up being 13, which is cool. No, I do not have a CNC router. I really wish I had one. My buddy Tip's got one, and I went over to his house yesterday and paid him a visit. And I really would like to have one, but I don't have a 4 foot by 4 foot area right now that I can dedicate to a CNC router. So until I get more room, it's not going to be happening. Needs more cookies. No, Steve, that is not a cookie rack. Now, it would work for a cookie rack, but it is not a cookie rack. Well, Steve, if you drop ship one to my house, Steve, I will accept it. But I just don't have anywhere to put it. If I did get one, I've even thought this through, guys. I've thought about doing it like one of those beds that you fold it up against the wall, and then when you use it, you fold it down. I don't know what they're called. But I've even thought about doing that just to where I could have one. But I'm going to hold off. I hope that when I retire, which hopefully will be in a couple of years or 3, I hope to be able to build me a little bit bigger shop. And when I do, I'm going to have an area kind of framed out for that. So Murphy bed. Yeah, that's what I was trying to find. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Like I said, I hate to run, but y'all saw it. The wife done came in here and gave me fair warning. If I don't go eat now, she'll either feed it to the dogs or the kids, or I won't ever find it, or I may not ever get supper again. So, but I appreciate you. Appreciate you stopping by, and glad my cable seems to be working, because the other day my camera wouldn't stay charged. So I got a new camera, thanks to my buddy Steve. Give me a little tip, buy a new cable. So I got my cable. Seems to be working good. And we'll see y'all Sunday night. And guys, if you're not coming on Sunday nights when Steve's actually in here, you know, where you can hear him talk, it's fun. It's entertaining, I hope. And we actually had a guy fix his laser during the live the other night with information that we gave him. So that's what it's all about. That's what makes it cool. That's why I have grown to really like the live part of this. I used to didn't want to do lives because I was like, what if I say something stupid? You know, you can't take it back. But then we did a couple. It turns out it's pretty fun. And then I get to meet guys, get to talk to you. And I would really like it if you could actually get in here and talk with us. And I'll be working on that. But for now, it's just going to be me and Steve talking, y'all asking the questions. So Sunday night, 7:00 p.m., come back and check us out. And Steve and I will be in here again. Save your questions up if you have any, and bring them with you, because if not, it's just going to be me and Steve talking about the weather and how much snow he's got and why I'm wearing a t-shirt, because that's generally where it goes. But thanks for coming, guys. And as always, stay safe and have a good day.